Go ahead.
My makeup is,
Your makeup is running.
Right.
Running, yes. Go ahead. But it's not a picture of you anyway. To be quite truthful.
What? We're not going to film it? We're not going to...
Yeah, you're in it, but you ain't in it. I'm the star here. See? Right there. Now, what do you want to know?
Wait a minute, I got to compete with all this stuff, man. Listen.
No competition. It's background. I need it to relax.
Well,
Keep my
I
toes
don't
down.
like it because I think it's distracting.
Well, it is distracting, but that's all right. You know what you want to ask.
No, I won't put up with that. I'd rather just do it straight into
I'm working.
You're working. What do you mean?
I'm working. This is all work, man. You think
I thought you wanted to do this. I don't know.
I
If
am
you don't want to
doing
do it, don't do it. I don't care.
I am doing it, here.
What are you working? What do you mean?
Okay.
All right. So, when did you arrive in Boston, in this area?
Oh, heavens. 1963.
Were you a refugee, or did you come here for school? What did you do?
No, I came here as a runaway.
What were you running away from?
What was I? See, right away, that question. What was I running away from? I was running away from
Support.
small town life, moved into big city, and it just didn't quite make it. And so I moved even into a bigger city, but on my own. I didn't have to worry about what anybody else thought about what I did.
So you came to Boston, and this was in '63. Did you?
Well, actually, that was in '64. I moved into Quincy in '63. Quincy is part of Boston, so
Sure.
you know.
Did
So,
you
yeah.
gravitate to the West End? Did you?
Nope,
yourself
nope.
in
I
the
found myself
lower
on Appleton Street for the great hippie years and doing drugs and
Yeah.
having a good old time.
Well, who were you partying with on Appleton Street in the hippie years?
A couple of nurses.
Couple of nurses.
Were
You going to the Tea Party? Were you seeing shows? Were you
Saw
going to the
saw shows at the Tea Party. Saw a lot of things. Yeah.
How about David Hearn doing his film shows? He was doing innovative film. Did you go to any of the new filmmakers or
Did they
innovative film
cost money?
shows? I don't know.
If it cost money, I didn't go. I only went to the Tea Party when I could get in for free.
Were you involved with film? Were you involved in multimedia?
Yep, I was involved with having a good time and traveling around the country,
Oh.
being a weirdo. You know?
You traveled around the country, really?
I've been around the country, yes.
Wow. Where did you travel? In a van with a group of people or a school bus? Or
Stick out your thumb and ride, Jack.
When was this?
Well, let's see. Summer of '64. I went out to Montana for a while. And then the summer of '65, I went out to Arizona and up around that Indian reservation there. And then after that, I went out to California a lot. About every year I'd go out to California until...
But somehow, for some reason, this place was home. You would go out and do things and travel and go around.
Oh, my family lives down in Quincy. Yeah, that's no problem. I actually graduated from high school out of North Quincy High School. Yeah, that's no problem.
Well, as compared to other places that you've been in the country, do you think Boston, through the years, has had a lot more to offer? Or more
Boston?
in
No,
terms of the arts?
Boston never had anything to offer.
Well, why are we here? Why are
Boston sucks.
Why are all these people?
Because
You have so many-
Cambridge started a school, and then they ended up with 3 or 4 more schools, and being as they're the schools for the rich, law enforcement is laxer on those peculiarities of individualism.
Give me some examples of how the law enforcement here is lax through your days.
How the law enforcement is lax?
Well, just some examples. I mean, you've been here quite a while. You've seen a lot of crazy scenes. I heard in the late '60s that the police were really coming down on people for gathering together. They had a police riot in the park in 1970 in Harvard Square. And
Yeah.
beat people up. And
Yeah, I
That
wasn't
one
here
cool
those
thing.
years.
where were you in the late '60s? You weren't in
Well,
Boston.
'69 I went out to California, and '70 I ended up in Charlestown for the end of '69, and then I went out to Wisconsin for about 9 months, and then I went to Australia. Then I came back from Australia in '72, and by then, all that shit was basically over. You know? So those heavy years I got out of because that wasn't Cambridge that was doing that at that point. That was basically the whole country that was being a police state, and if you spoke up anywhere, the police would beat you on the head. That's when we had all those fucking Irish cops, or German cops, or Polish cops, or whatever city you were in had its own little cadre of political clout, and they hired the cops. And by God, they were all ex-football players, and big jerks that liked to punch people.
Jack Powers was talking one time about how, and I guess it was about 70, 71. It might have been later than that. And this was here in Cambridge. The SDS movement splintered. The SDS movement broke apart. Other factions that came in, the Black Panthers, and, as well as the Weathermen, and it was just tumultuous politically around here in the early 70s. He seemed pretty disillusioned with that. He was doing Stone Soup, I think, at that time.
Well, those people were all shooting guns off. They didn't. There wasn't no great mystery to that, If you're going to pull out guns, you're going to lose your support. There's no way you can start shooting. This is America.
Well, it was a very small faction in the SDS who were into violence.
Well, a very small faction of those. No. SDS was a very small faction, period.
Well, they were organized at college campuses
all
across the country.
You can't count college students in that group, though. Or should I say, if you were a college student, you were not in SDS because SDS insisted on total obeisance or whatever they call that. You can't. You ain't got time to go to classes, so yeah, you can call yourself one, but you ain't no college student. So if you ain't a college student, and if you're a college student, you really can't be an SDS. Yeah, you can come out to their marches on a Saturday afternoon after you finished your homework, but students can't do it. And students aren't carrying guns. That's a joke. You can quit.
You've rigorously avoided any commitments and involvement in things political over the years.
Well, I haven't resisted. I've just said that how can you take a bunch of anarchists who basically are living on their ego and put them into one ball and say we're a group? That doesn't work. Everybody's playing their own games. There's no can't win anything that way.
Have you witnessed? Have you seen political actions and how they disintegrate?
Have I seen
that? There and recorded it on film?
No. As a matter of fact, I haven't. Because inside of that, with video anyway, you have a great deal of trouble with people not really accepting the role of the documentation. Not seeing it as a historical act, but seeing it as an act which in fact is dangerous to their position. So it's like taking pictures, one of the big mistakes the Panthers made in reality was allowing themselves to be photographed so often with their weapons. That was a bit hard sell for normal America. If they'd have been photographed in suits and ties only, Black Panthers would have done a lot of good. As it was, they were only associated with that bandolier and rifle slung across their shoulders. White America wasn't going to take that. They shot them. So everybody that was in those pictures of the Black Panthers, they're dead suckers. You get your picture taken, you're dead. That's what the whole political movement was basically blown out that way.
So you think it was all posture, and the posture was a wrongful posture that basically
the posture was wrong. Yes.
All it was woofing. It was just a matter of saying,
Well, but you can't woof at
You
the
know, we'll
people
blow
that
you-
really
blow your
got
heads
the
off.
gun.